Start the recording. Today we will discuss about the SAP HANA security here. SAP HANA security. Why we are calling every time before the HANA, we are mentioning SAP means it's a SAP product. Normally, it's a SAP HANA. You see any blog or any site or anywhere, SAP HANA, SAP HANA. So it's not like that single word like HANA. It's like SAP HANA. SAP HANA. So user management, today we'll discuss about that one, right? So what is mean by why we need security for the databases, especially for the databases? Why? Because all the business data will resides, will sit, will save, will store in database level, right? So if someone hacks your database, someone hacking your database, or someone theft your database related data, then it is a security breach in the organization, right? So we need to protect the data as a security. Is security, ANA security means it is the protecting the important data from the unauthorized access here. Protecting the data from unauthorized access here. Protecting the data from unauthorized access. Unauthorized. Suppose if any unauthorized persons they want to log into the our databases, the security is one of the thing they will protect here. So security without he log into our SAP system, he cannot sorry ANA system, he cannot do any access here, right? He cannot see any data. So that's why security is protecting the important data from unauthorized access. And also, we should also ensure that we are following the standard organizational compliance to meet the security standards, security protocols. Are we meeting the security protocols, the password length, right? So the way of we are accessing the systems, are we following the organizational policies here? Every organization, there is a policy, right? And also there is password policy. And also some security standards, we have to do that one. Otherwise, data will be theft. Data will be theft here. Here, the SAP HANA, it provides a multiple security features SAP is providing. SAP HANA is providing some security features they are providing here. So in the HANA, so we have in the HANA, there are the some security features are available. There are the several security features are available here. Features are available here. In that, one is the people can log in with the user and the role management here. User and role management. So and also the authorization. We need the authorization to access the data. If you have the role, if you are the user, you cannot directly access all the data here. Definitely you need the authorization. Or you have the some authentication methods. You should meet the some authentication here. Authentication method. And also here we can encrypt the data here. We can encrypt the data means /ana data. We can encrypting the data here. We can encrypt the data. Encrypt the data layer here. And also in the encrypting the network layer also here. Encrypting the network layer here. So why? Because not sure sometimes the hackers, if they hack your network, definitely whatever the data. Why? Because everything data will data will go via network layer only. If they hack your data layer, network layer, definitely there is a theft of the data, right? If they hack your data in the OS level, operating system level, if they hack the operating system level, all the data will resides in the data folder level, right? All the data resides into the data folder level. This is also one theft, right? So if they hack the network, they can also hack the network. Then there are multiple layers. We are doing the we are giving the security. We are putting the some security standards we are giving here. Network layer, data layer, authentication wise, authorization wise, the roles wise. So we are multiple ways. We are protecting our systems, protecting the data, protecting our systems here, right? So that is the main thing here. So coming to the HANA role and user management. So here, so it depends upon the user, depends upon the user, the depends upon is designation. So the user, if you are creating the HANA means, who is that user here? First of all, who is that user? Is the administrator user, is the developer, is the fresher, is the end user, what is going to perform in our systems. So first of all, we should ask all these details here, right? So based on that, we have to define the roles. First of all, we have to define the roles in our systems here. We have to define our roles in our systems here, right? So in HANA Studio, there is a tab is called the security tab here. Either systemdb you have the separate security, and also here you have the tenantdb also, we have the separate security also here, right? So in the systemdb, right click on the systemdb, right click on the users. So just click on the new user here, right? It's a technical user we are going to create in our database here, technical user. So before we create the database, before we create the user, we should define the role. Role is required here. Who is that user here? Which you are going to create the user. Which user? Which user? So is belongs to. Why? Because the end user cannot directly access the database or database server here. He will connect to the SAP only. So SAP will connect to the database. So is responsible only connect to the SAP application. We will do the transaction, that SAP application will connect to the database. Then why is required the access to the database? What is the purpose of? Why? Because technical users, technical users are database users. We should be required as a business consultant or as a security consultant. The people should require the admin IT team is required the access to the your databases and SAP to protect the data, to create the users and all those things here, right? So in this case, we need to create the all those things here. We need to create the users here. We have to create the users. We have to create the users here. So here in the users tab, you see there is a username. Suppose we can create, I can create the one user here. Then here we have the authentication methods. Authentication methods here. So authentication methods here. What are the authentication methods we have here? Authentication methods here. So you see the authentication methods here. So you can use these are the following authentication methods here. So authentication method means here, what type of user here, what type of database or user, who is accessing here, who is the user is accessing the database here, right? So there are the some authentication methods. This box, this flip is called the this flip from authentication. This flip is called the authentication methods here. The following are the authentication methods here. Here, while creating the user, we can assign the password. One is the password-based authentication. Password-based authentication here. So when he wants to log into the database, here, he needs to enter the user ID and password. So that's why we will call it as these are the authentication methods. Let me write it here. Authentication methods here. So one is the user ID and the password based here, user ID and password here. So the second one is the Kerberos based mechanism here. See here. So there is a user ID and password. Then Kerberos, right? Kerberos, SAML, X.501, SAP assertion ticket or SAP logon ticket. These are the authentication methods are available in SAP systems here, right? So second one is the Kerberos here, right? Kerberos. The third one is called the SAML mechanism here. The fourth one is called the SAP logon tickets here. SAP the logon tickets. Using the SAP logon ticket, you can log into the ticket. The fifth one is called the X dot 509 certificates. Certificate normal SSL certificates. You can log into the systems here. So user ID password based mechanism means user has to enter the user ID and password. When he is trying to access the database, he has to enter the user ID and password. Then so he will authenticate the database. He can log into the database. He can work on it here, right? So that is the user ID password based mechanism here. The next one is called the what happened? You are hearing me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
Oh, network is there. Yeah, now it is accessible. The network cable got uh, slightly corrected. You can say. Yeah. Sorry. Okay. So while that gets started, okay. So authentication method. One is the user ID and password. The second one is called the Kerberos. Kerberos means these all are the authentication methods actually. So normally we are using the first method here, like user ID and password based method here. So the first one is called the second one is called the Kerberos. Kerberos means using the some other interfaces, suppose like some JDBC, so ODBC clients, some HTTP, we can use this methods here. So which means some JDBC are the drivers, some clients, some external clients, or so ODBC drivers. Using this driver clients, we can log into our HANA systems also here. So when you use these methods, we can log into our our systems. We can log into our systems here. That is called the Kerberos based method. So rare cases, normally the database level that much of not required. SAP level we require the more. Why? Because here we will only connect it here. IT team only will connect to the database level. Development teams are but users, end users, they don't require the access to the database here. So that's why all security will be done by the SAP level itself. Database level only basis users or development users who will log into the our systems and do the some development activities. So that case, we will do the all kind of so Kerberos mechanism and everything here. So next one is the SAML. SAML means security assertion markup language here. So HANA users can also authenticate using the SAML, which means SSO concept here. Using the some external identity provider, they can access the if you integrate the some third party identity providers like Azure ADFS, some Okta, some there is a so some third party providers are there who will provide the users and everything here. One users like user related store. So they can use their identity providers. They can log into the our HANA databases also here. That type of we have to purchase. You have to purchase here. So those related things also we can integrate it without they entering into the any passwords. They can log into the our databases. Why? Because so that type of authentication also we can do it here. Then SAP logon tickets. SAP logon tickets means by using the logon tickets. So there is a some logon and a SAP assertion ticket here. Logon tickets means so SAP in SAP level we have the tickets the token based method is there. So you can the people the user can be authenticated by using the logon and assertion tickets. They can use those assertion ticket by default SAP generated tickets. So they can be authenticated without entering any passwords. So they can enter the password. The user can enter the password. User can log in with the JDBC ODBC driver. User can log in with the SAML configurations. User can log in without with the ticket without entering the password. Just ticket based authentication. You can log in. User can log in with the X.509 certificates. X.509 certificate means user. So some third party certificates are there here, right? So if you are the user, if they have valid HTTP certificate, it will be trusted by the trusted authority. Like suppose like trusted authorities means GoDaddy, right? And also DZ DGCert. These are the some companies, they will provide the certificates to us so that we can apply those certificates into our system so that the user can log in with that certificate based also here. While log into the HANA database, so they can follow these authentication methods here. They can log into these many authentication methods. They can use it here. So it means login. So now we are logging through the HANA Studio, right? Few people, they will use the browser. So when they are using the browser-based authentication, that time the X.509 certificate authentication will happen so that you will log in with the X.509 certificate based. Some people, they will log in with the some third-party tools, some other tools, not from the HANA Studio, some tools they will use it. So that time also, that time the Kerberos mechanism, some ODBC, JDBC client that will be helpful for them to log in here. So multiple ways we can log into the our HANA system. So multiple authentication protocols we can use it. Then we can log into the system here. Let me check. HDB space info. Let me check here. So it's not started. So let me start first here. So without starting, If I, oh, it's locked. My secure storage is locked here. Then what I have to do? In case of your secure storage lock, just to go to the preferences here. Meanwhile, so let me start the HANA database using the HDB space start button here. So that HANA DB is starting now. HANA DB is getting started here. So while that is starting mode, then I can go to the preferences here. In the preferences here, so we have general security, right? Security storage here. Just to clear the passwords. So clear the passwords here. So then secure storage is deleted here. Now you can log into the HANA Studio. Sometimes if the unexpected closure, sometimes what happens, your secure store will be locked. Your password store will be locked here. Then we can reset it. It's not the so that much of critical. Just to go to the preferences, just to you can delete the passwords. So you will get the screen like this here. See, again we got the screen here, right? So this is the way here you can log in here. Now, when you close and when you open the HANA Studio, it will ask the passwords, the system user. So why we are using the only system user password here? Why can't we use the other users here? So that is what we are discussing, right? Security concept here. Everybody using the secret system password. If someone deletes something, then who is the responsible here? How can I identify here? That's why. So we have the security concept here. That's why we have to create the individual users here so that the user can be created here. Users can be created here. So if you just to open the secure users tab, if you just expand the users tab here, then you will see the you will see the what are the list of users which are available in our system. So list of users which are available in our systems here. Right click on here, click on the new user here. So new user will be created here. Right? New user will be created here. So here you can enter the username. Then, so how the authentication will happen? Whether he has to enter the user ID and password, or he has to enter the SAML configuration. There is specific configuration we have to perform. Or he has to enter the SAP logon pad configurations, or he has to enter the X.509 configuration or Kerberos configurations. There is a specific configuration for the each and everything here, right? Each and everything, there is specific configuration. If we use this one, we have to import the certificate. Certificate, we have to import it here. So that the user will be authenticated using that certificate only here. Suppose like, let me import the digital certificate here, right? So that the is, the user is so valid to, means whoever having this disease certificate, only that user can log into the our HANA system here. That user can log into the HANA system here. See here, suppose right X.509 certificate I have created here. Now, now what will happen when I want to log in some other using the browser, or suppose I want to log into the system. Now I should have the X.509 certification should be required here, right? So some X.509 certificate, so it should be required here. So there is a different way to log in, then we have to use it here. So I don't have any password here, just I am using the X.509 certificate I am using here. So in my desktop, in my local laptop desktop, I have this certificate is there. I can log in with the HANA system using the certificate based. I can log into the HANA system here. So that is what here the intention of the X.5099 certificate based mechanism here, right? So that is the certificate based mechanism here, right? So okay, so here we want to create the password, we can create the password. So any authentication methods, we can use it here. Any authentication methods, so we can use it here. But for configuring this one, there is this valid certificates, valid third party, others vendors, it's required to import the certificates, configuration, all those things. So this is the database. So we don't require much here. So just to password based authentication, you can enable it here. Password based authentication, just you can enable it here. Just when is logging to the your database server, you can enter the user ID and password, you can enter it here. The next one is the authorization. Next one is called the authorization here. So authentication, this is the one of the authentication method, right? Authentication. Next one is the authorization. Authorization here. Authorization means what level of authorization? You can connect to the HANA database now, right? I have created the user now, right? I have created the Ravi user now. Let me ask Ravi to use his own ID, Ravi ID. Then he can log into the HANA system here. He can reset the password. He can set own password here. Right? Password is changed.
We can do it is in tenant or a system.
Both are the separate user management. You can also connect to the system DB. You can also create the user, but in a system DB there is no data. There is no use of connecting to the system DB here. Only basis users we can connect it for the administration purpose. So that time we have to use the system DB. So we can create the own user. But tenant is the main where we have the actual data resides. So that is the one. So now I connected with my user, Ravi user. Instead of system user, I connected to the Ravi user. But when I am trying to open the any administration page, let me try to open the administration page. So let's see whether it will open or not here. Whether it will open or not, let's see here. So why? Because not assigned any role here, any authorization. So nothing I have assigned here. So that's why means I am not the authorized person. Just user created, password created means, which means you are not allowed to use entire HANA DB administration. So, which means here the authorizations are required here. See here, if I open any tab, it won't allow. It won't allow you to open here. If I open any tab here, it will like, so suppose if I want to create the new user, it's my user, you need the some privileges are required here, which means I am not the authorized person to do this activity. To do this activity. So as of now, we are logging with the system user means we have the access. We are doing all kind of things, right? But when it comes to the your user, Ravi user, you are unable to perform anything here because user is created, but nothing is assigned to the your user here. Means there is no authorization here. Authorization here. These are the authorization methods we have here. Authorization methods in the system here. So HANA authorization. HANA authorization here. In the HANA authorization we have here. So why it is required means when you are accessing from the studio or some other client interfaces are definitely some authorization required. Without authorization, without privileges, you cannot access the particular tab. You cannot access that particular tab. You cannot access it here. That's why authorization is required here. Authorization is required to perform the database functionalities here. So they are the set of privileges, set of authorizations here. Set of authorizations with privileges. One is the system privileges here. Then object-based privileges. Then analytic privileges here. Then we have the package privileges. Then fifth one is called the application privileges here. Then sixth one is called the privileges on users here. So privileges on users here. So these are the 6 types of authorizations are there here. Privileges, I mean to say privileges here. So in the HANA Studio, you see the 6 types of privileges here. One is the system privileges here. So you created the access password also you set it out, but what about the accessing part? What about the authorization part here? Which authorization, which tab he has to access? That you have not defined here, right? That's why we have the system privileges here. So system privileges, either any one of the privilege, any one of the thing you have to assign to the user here. Suppose you created the Ravi user, he is the audit person. Then you can just assign the audit administrator related so thing you can assign to the him. He is the backup admin. He is the catalog read, means database administrator, right? If you assign the database administrator, then just to save it, now you can ask user to Ravi to log in now. So now if you just double click on the Ravi, if you logged into the Ravi, then he can access now. Why? Because you have assigned the catalog read privileges to him. So he can access the catalog read related privileges he can access here. Right? So that is what is we are assigning now. Let's see here. Right now, how is open now? Previously, we got like you are not the authorized person, something like that. We got the error. Now, how the Ravi user with Ravi user, not the system user, with Ravi user, I opened the HANA administration console. I have opened. How I have opened here? Why? Because here the catalog read some system privilege which is assigned to me. That is the reason I am able to open. If I delete, then if I save it, then if I use similar, then I will get the error again. You don't have the required privileges, something like that. You don't have the administrator privileges here, right? You got the this kind of things here, this kind of things here. You got it here, right? So that is the main thing here. So any privilege, the user depends upon the user which he is creating. Suppose is the only log admin, is the license person, is the import person, is the export person. Depends upon the activity. Depends upon the activities he is going to perform in our systems. That related system privileges we can assign to the user here. That related persons we can assign. He is the backup admin, means he can only do the backups, right? He cannot touch any other activity. He can only do the backups. So that's why the backup admin privilege I have assigned here. The backup admin privilege I have assigned to the user here. That is the main thing here, right? Next one is the object privileges. Object privilege means the specific table level privileges here. Specific table level objects. Suppose the particular developers, they don't require the administrator related access here. What they require developers, some table level access he required. Why? Because developers, right? So then we will assign the specific schema or specific table we will assign to the user. Suppose like the developers, he required the access to the some tables, like some jet training, which we created, right? He required the access to the training table only. Then we can assign the access to the training table. In the training table, what he has to perform, he needs to select, or he want to update, he want to delete, whatever the things he want to do it, then we can select it, all the operations here, all the privileges, just to select the OK button, which means this Ravi is the developer user. He can only perform the object level privileges, means he can only access the the Z training related table he can access. That's it. You can only access the one table that is called the Z training table, which we created. You can only access the training table, right? So like that, I created the assigned the object privileges here, right? Object privilege. Object privilege means it's a database level specific table access you are giving here. Not the system privilege means so entire like system means system administrator related privileges here. Object means some specific table related object privileges you are giving here, right? So based upon your user type is the developer, then definitely developer don't require the administrator access, right? Then only the specific tables we required or specific object we required. Then we can assign the specific table we assign to him, right? Then analytical privileges here. Analytical privileges means so there is the some analytical privileges here. So normally the developers they will create the some packages in the system. So normally developer they will use the content, right? They will use the content. Then here they will create the some analytical privileges. They will create it here. Analytical privileges means suppose like Z test some privilege I have created here, right? Analytical privileges. So normally developer will do this kind of work. You no need to worry about that one. So developers, they will create the some content, some packages, they will create it in the content tab. They will do that one. For that one, they will create the analytical privileges here. They will do the some analytical privileges here. They will perform it here, right? They will perform it here. So they will perform it here. Activation some errors here. So the runtime error. I don't know what is this. Okay, they will create the like this. They will create the some analytical privileges here. So when you want to give the access to that analytical privileges, just give select that one so that he can only access the whatever you created in the content tab that package. He can only access the that related packages only, not the all the packages. So that's why you are restricting in the package level. In the developer package level, you are restricting. In the developer object table level, you are restricting. And the table functionality wise, you are restricting. All the ways you are restricting here, right? Next one is the package and the privileges. Packages and the some packages are used to provide the authorizations here. So in the packages, some packages here. So the system level, we have the some packages here. Normally developers they will create the some packages, right? Content, some analytical privileges they will create for their development objects. So if any specific person they require access to that packages, they will we will just packages that one we can assign to that person here. That one we can assign to that person here. That training to so that packages we created, right? That package that training to package. So that packages directly we can assign that packages to that person here. We can assign that packages here. These are the packages here. These both are developer will develop the packages and privilege for that package. They will develop the analytical privileges. We will do that kind of work here. Application privileges here. Application privileges are some access related applications here. Access. So normally in the HANA database, some people they will develop the applications. In the database, they will develop the directly in the database, they will use the SAP Access Engine. They will develop the some mobile applications and everything here. For that one, we can assign this application privileges here. Some privileges are direct application privileges. Directly can assign the this privileges to the this privileges so that they can access. Privilege on users here. So the related user we can assign to the here related user we can assign to the user. Whatever the user this user is having the access, same user I will get the access here. A reference user, I mean to say the reference user here, right? That is the main thing here. So generated roles here. Instead of daily you are assigning all those things, every tab you are assigning, you can create the one role here. In the security tab, there is a role concept here, right? Right click and create the new role here, not here. Right click, just create the new role here. In the new role, just create the, suppose like Z underscore development users. Then development users, what we required for the object privileges here, right? So objects means some training related package, select statement, delete statement. They will perform some development related things, they will perform. So that's it. So same developers, he required the some analytical privileges, package privileges also required. Then, so instead of that, just create the role. For that role you can create it. In that role, you can assign the directly, you can assign the package to the that role to the user here. So that instead of doing every time, whenever you are creating the user, every time, whenever just you want to assign something to the user, and again every time you have to go to the all the tabs, directly create the role here. Okay, you created the role, fine. Then directly go to the, instead of go to the Ravi user, set the password, directly go to the role, he is the developer. So definitely there is a developer role. Directly assign the developer role to him. That's it. You don't need to work on the system privileges, object privileges, analytical privileges, all those things are there. He is the developer, then developer role you assigned, you will only perform the development related activity. That's it. So it's kind of roles creation. Role means set of privileges we will assign to the one role. That role we are assigning to the user. So the role, whatever the role having the privileges, whoever you are assigning, that role you are assigning to the user, he can perform the related activities in the system. He can perform the related activities in the system here. So these are the roles. You can see the roles here. You can create the, by default, some roles are available, or you can also create the new role. Depends upon the your organization, which it will allow. You can create the new roles also here. These all are the roles are available for monitoring purposes. Instead of you working on it, just directly go to the monitoring role. Just you can assign the monitoring roles. Just monitoring person, just you can assign to the here, right? So automatically this all are assigned privileges, package privilege, analytical privilege, object privileges. It's not like that everything you should assign it here. Depends upon the user type, you can assign the respective. So modeling for developers, you have already role. Monitor, public role already. So depends upon the user type, you have already roles are created here. So directly you can assign that role to the respective user, you can assign to the him. Okay. Those are the authorization here. Authentication methods, authorization methods, user role. Role means any role you can create it by adding respective privileges here. By adding respective privileges, roles you can create it here. So users, you can see here while creating the user, you have the option, right? While creating the user, you have the option is called the, so you can see the options here, right? One is the technical user. Technical user means, so technical user. So means we are the technical user. Or users also, there are the two types of users are there here. Users also, there is a two types of users here. One is the standard users. Standard users means either technical user or database users here. User also we have the standard user, DBA technical users means me. We as a administrator team, as a DBA team, we have the separate role that is called the administrator role, DBA team. So then we can create the DBA user, then we can assign the DB all the roles and responsibilities, full access we can give it to the user here. Then we are the who directly work with the HANA database with the necessary privileges. Maybe we can do the deletion, creation, backups, restore, recovery, security, all kind of admin activities we will perform it. So we are the administrators. Sometimes we have the real users, database users here. Each user who wants to work in the database, they need a real person. Some privileges he required, right? Those are the database users here. Real users here. Sometimes we may have to create the restricted users. So which means when you create the restricted user, restricted user cannot create any objects. Restricted user cannot view any database level access. User cannot connect to the database here through HTTP connections. You can only use the ODBC, JDBC connection. The restricted user can only use restricted functionalities. He cannot use the HTTP functionality. There is some restrictions are there here. Some restrictions are there here for this one. So here, normally when you are creating the user means he is the new user actually, right? He is the new user. Then that user, we can create it, password, we can set it out. Then related privileges, we can give it. Then we can ask user to log into the HANA database. Either database administrator or normal user, we can assign this one. Restricted user means he cannot log into our database. Just database to database communication users, service users, that kind of users we can create as a restricted users here, right? Restricted users here. This is the users and the roles concept in the here. There is a security, right? In security standards, normally when you go to the database security, we have the password policies, right? Normally, whenever you log into the any banking applications or any other applications, you should have the minimum 8 password length is 8 characters or 6 characters. You have to define one uppercase, one smaller case, one special characters, right? You have number of 6 times. If you attempt wrong attempt, 5 times. If you attempt wrong attempt, your password will be locked. Your user will be locked. You should not use the last 5 passwords here. Initial password 7 days. So something like that, we have the restrictions, right? Anyway, once you have the bank password, so then bank passwords or any other, if suppose you are creating your accounts, either Gmail or either Facebook account or Twitter account or banking account, you are doing that one, there is a restrictions to use the passwords, right? So how can we set that type of restrictions? How they will set it out, right? So here, this is the way here we can put some restrictions here. Here in the password policy, we can set some restriction based upon our organization policy. We can set some restrictions here. So sometimes when you are using the simple guessable passwords, so we can put them into the blacklisted. Blacklisted means if you put the same password in the blacklisted, suppose like India, welcome. Suppose some people they will use the US, UK, some countries guessable passwords, right? So if they use that passwords, so we can block those passwords also. Means user cannot reset their passwords to the some blacklisted passwords. Blacklisted passwords. So those blacklisted means that passwords he cannot set it out. Blacklisted means he cannot use those passwords. That is the main thing we are doing here. Main thing intention of this blacklisted passwords here. Cannot reset that passwords here. Okay. That is the blacklisted passwords here. We can set that one. So we can set the passwords also here. So it is a blacklisted configuration. So SAML identity provider, as I mentioned in the here in the authentication methods, this is the one of the authentication method. So data volume encryption. As I mentioned, some people, if they hack your operating system, then if they go to the /ana data, all the passwords or bank accounts, it will be saved into the data folder, right? This is the data folder is the very important here, right? So all the passwords, data, tables, everything will be stored into the data level here. So if they hack this operating system, then if they go to the /ana data, if they view the data inside of this one, our bank accounts, our user IDs, passwords, everything will saved into the database level. In the table level, it will be saved. So we can recognize our passwords and everything. So to avoid that kind of thing, we can do some encryptions. We can perform some encryption here so that the passwords will not be visible for them. Whoever using the operating system level, if they want to view the password, that will show in the binary code format. Means in the system format, it will show to that person here. So which means in the data folder level also we are encrypting. We are encrypting the passwords here, which means so no one can show the passwords of the other users and everything here. So that is the restrictions we are encrypting here, right? Next one is the auditing policies here. Auditing policies means, so sometimes database level, some people what they will do, they will some people they will create so they will delete something, they will say like I have not deleted anything here, but so especially for the banking sector systems, it's a very important create the policies here, audit policies here, so that the audit action is successful or unsuccessful or audit level is okay, then it's the then immediately that will be recorded, immediately that will be recorded here, immediately that will be recorded here, right? So immediately that will be recorded, that is called the audit action. Suppose let me track this auditing for the one of the object is called the Ravi user here, right? Ravi user here. For Ravi user, what I am doing here, only dedicated one user here, not the all the user. For one user, I have created the some audit policies here, so that the whatever this Ravi user do in the system, everything, all the actions is the deleting, the creating, whatever he is doing, everything will be tracked, everything will be recorded here. So during the auditing time, auditors will view the data. Oh, Ravi user deleted something. So immediately they will fire him, right? That is what. So they can do here by proofs. So here it will generate the logs here. So based on these logs, they will fire the, so they will take the respective actions here, right? So that is the main function of the audit policies here. Here we need to set the some audit policies here. So for especially for the banking sector systems, normally we won't get access to the banking sector system databases first of all. So if they give you, then there is a lot of policies. Banking sectors means all our finance data, amount, credit cards, debit cards, accounts, their passwords, everything will be saved into the in the banking systems, in the banking databases. Their passwords, everything in the some table level, it will be stored, right? So if the person hacks, definitely he will theft our data, something will happen to our accounts, right? So that's why if even though he logged into the system, that will be tracked here. Who is logging to the database level, what they are doing. There is a every year the auditing will be enabled. During the auditing, it will be tracked here. So it will be tracked here. So this will happen here. This is the audit policies. So everything more security level. We have the anywhere we have the security is available. So we have the user ID password. Even though the user ID password is available, he is trying to do something in the system. There is audit policies. Is if he is trying to delete the audit policy also, that will be recorded in the database level here. So that is the main thing of the databases here, right? This is the way we can create the users in the systems, and we can restrict the passwords and everything here, right? This is the user side, the roles and the password policies here. Okay, any questions, anyone?
Yeah. లైక్ ఈసీసీలో మనం యూజర్స్ ని లాక్ అండ్ అన్లాక్ చేస్తాం, డిలీట్ చేస్తాం కదండి. ఇక్కడ ఎలా చేస్తాం?
ఇక్కడ కూడా అంతే సేమ్. Suppose I want to lock the Ravi user here, right? I want to lock
Yeah.
the Ravi user here. If you want to delete the Ravi user, you can delete it. If you want to copy this Ravi user to another user, you can copy it here, right? Suppose I want to same is the replica of the another user means, so just you can just copy it, just to do the other user name Ravi one. So just you can set the password, just set the password and you can give it. Whatever the Ravi user having the access, then Ravi one also will get the access. So in case of user is locked, suppose like he entered the wrong attempts, some wrong attempts he attempted. So you want to you want to force to change the password. Okay. Then no, you don't want to change the password. Just click on the no button here. Suppose you want to restrict the validity until till, you can restrict it here, right? So you can only valid until today, so 628 only. So then you can restrict it here, right? So maybe we can put the 2 more minutes more. After the validity from date, I think 30 is coming to near. Maybe let's check the 5 minutes 40, 6:40. Right. So by 6:40, he will be locked now. Right. Validity end. So only 2 minutes, 3 minutes he is allowed to log into the database. After that, he is logged in. In case of is deactivated, means he is locked. Suppose like Ravi user got locked here. Then what we can do here? Suppose like I am entering the wrong password here. Suppose example. So let log off. I will enter the wrong password here. No, one time, 2 times, 5 times, I guess we said, 3 times, 4 times, then 5 times. So 5 times I also set here, then 6 times here. So 6 times I set it here. So I am not sure whether my user is locked or not. I am not sure here, right? So then I can ask my security team to do the work here. Then we will log into the system, go to the security. So primary, right? So not the system. Go to the security here. We'll check the Ravi status here. So status is Ravi is the deactivated. Why? Because too many invalid connection attempts here. So he got deactivated here. Then in this case, we have the option like activate the user here. So if you activate the user, then user is again activated. Unlock. Activate means unlock. You want to deactivate. If you deactivate the user, then administrator is explicitly deactivated. User lock and unlock. With the unlock, then you can log in now. So we set the passwords policy, right? So which means if we enter 5 times wrong password, he will be locked. Some organization they will put the 3 times, some organization they will put the 5 times, some organization 8 times. That is our wish. How you want to put, you can put it that much of attempts here. So 5 times if you enter the wrong password, you will be locked here. So that's why what you have to do. So for everyone, log in with the system user, create your own user, then create your own user, do the practice here. So that whenever you are practicing, you are not using the system user, you are using this user mains. So definitely, so in the performance tab, all your users will be recorded here. All your sessions will be recorded here. See here how many sessions are opened here currently. So here you can see which are the users here. All are using the HANA Studio. All are the HANA Studio system administrator, administrator user, and database user is a system user. Everybody using the system user. Then who will log into the Ravi user here, right? If I log into the Ravi user now, if I do something, my user also will be recorded there. My user also will be recorded from there here. So let's see here. I also logged into the HANA database here. Same. So Ravi user is recorded here. So now whatever Ravi user is doing, it will be recorded here. I can also cancel the Ravi session. He is doing something. I can also cancel the Ravi user here. So this way I can restrict it here. Right. So in this way, if you log in everybody, all the users will be logged into the here. So we can see who is causing the actual issue here. Which user is using the what, how many queries he filled. So the performance tab we can fill it out here. That's why you can create your own user by using the system user. Then you can practice it, and if something slowness or something observed, check who is causing the issue, what they are doing, some kind of troubleshooting knowledge you will get here. Okay.